Burnout. It's a word that we're hearing more and more in workplaces around the world. It's that feeling of being completely drained, physically, emotionally, mentally. And if left unchecked, burnout doesn't just affect individuals, it affects entire teams, organizations, and ultimately business success. But burnout isn't inevitable. In fact, leaders play a crucial role in preventing it. So, what is burnout? The World Health Organization defines it as a syndrome that stems from chronic workplace stress that hasn't been properly managed. It has three main symptoms: exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced professional efficacy. In other words, people experiencing burnout are tired, disconnected, and often feel like they're just not making a difference. These feelings can spiral, leading to reduced productivity, higher turnover, and a decline in team morale. The impact goes beyond the individual, creating a ripple effect that affects the entire organization. But here's the important part: burnout isn't just a personal issue for employees to manage on their own. Leaders have a responsibility and an ethical imperative to create work environments that actively prevent burnout. By fostering a culture of well-being, leaders can make a powerful difference in the lives of their teams and the success of their organizations. Let's take a step back and think about what it means to lead ethically in this context. Ethical leadership goes beyond financial goals or project deadlines. It means viewing employees as whole human beings, not just contributors to the bottom line. Ethical leaders understand that their responsibility includes caring for the well-being of their teams. This shift in perspective, from taskmaster to caretaker, is critical in building a culture that prevents burnout. One real-world example of this shift comes from a tech startup that was struggling with high turnover and employee exhaustion. When the leadership team realized that their aggressive growth targets were burning people out, they decided to make a change. They started by holding open discussions with employees about workload and stress, sharing company goals transparently, and even implementing flexible work schedules. Over time, not only did morale improve, but the company actually saw a boost in productivity and loyalty. So, what practical steps can leaders take to prevent burnout? Here are 5 strategies that can make a real impact. First, prioritize open communication. Leaders should create a culture where employees feel safe to speak up about their challenges without fear of judgment or repercussions. This means checking in regularly, not just to discuss tasks, but to genuinely understand how your team members are feeling. It's about listening to them and addressing issues before they escalate. Second, be flexible with work arrangements. In today's world, the traditional 9 to 5 isn't always the best fit. Leaders can offer options like flexible hours, remote work, or even job sharing arrangements. By adapting work structures to meet the needs of individuals, you will show that you trust your team and value their well-being. Finally, invest in employee growth. When people feel they're learning and advancing in their careers, they're less likely to feel stagnant and burnt out. Leaders can encourage growth by offering training, supporting attendance at industry events, or assigning projects that align with individual strengths and interests. Investing in development doesn't just benefit employees, it strengthens the organization as a whole. These practical steps, communication, flexibility, clear goals, leading by example, and supporting growth, are the building blocks of a workplace culture that values well-being and actively works to prevent burnout. It's about creating an environment where employees feel supported, respected, and motivated. In the end, the responsibility to prevent burnout goes far beyond just avoiding a productivity dip or keeping turnover low. It's about creating a sustainable, humane workplace where people can thrive. Ethical leadership calls on us to see the bigger picture, to recognize that fostering a healthy work environment isn't just a nice to have, it's a moral imperative. When leaders prioritize well-being, they're not only taking care of their teams, but also building a foundation for long-term success. So, as you reflect on your role as a leader, ask yourself, are you creating a culture where burnout is less likely to happen? Are you fostering an environment where people feel safe, respected, and valued? If the answer isn't a clear yes, then there's room for improvement. Start by listening, adapting, and leading by example.